welcome back to the 11th episode of the T-38 build. So we're still waiting for spackle to dry. It's probably dry now. It's been sitting all day. So I have all the flight controls done. Just waiting. I just got done installing the servos here. I've mounted them flush. And I think I'm gonna just put a little spackle in over the wires. And then I'm gonna get this puppy ready to cover the lower section, so it's kind of nice. I have the flap servos the same direction, that way I don't have to have them on separate channels. They should work the same amount, so see how that goes. Might have to play around with that a little bit once it's all said and done, but hopefully everything's pretty close. Let's see. I do the same thing on the elevators. I got the servos facing the same direction, so trying to cut the channel count down, keep this to a 6-channel model, so I have extra channels for the head tracker and potentially for gear doors and speed brakes in the future. So anyways, let's keep going with this wing. Alright guys, so I got the stabs all covered. You see the servos actually are a little bit proud. I was hoping they'd be flush, but by the time I glued them in, they were sticking out a little bit. No big deal. I haven't glued the hinges in yet. They're just sitting in there. But I got the wing all covered on the bottom. Can't see it, but it's covered. Servos are in it. Servos are in here. I just weighed everything. So the whole airframe with the servos and the retracts is 6 pounds, or 6.25 pounds. So right now, making some estimates for some other stuff. Sitting around 13.5 pounds ready to fly. So as long as little things don't get too carried away, like servo extensions and stuff like that, should be looking pretty good. I think it's always going to be more than you think it is, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be less than 14 pounds. So depends how carried away I get with the cockpit and all that stuff. So anyways, yeah, stoked about that. So far the covering is going really good. I mean, the wings and tails are all done, so now it's just on with the fuselage. I gotta sand this spackle off and put a couple of coats of poly on it, and we'll start covering it tomorrow. So by the end of tomorrow there might be not a whole lot left to do, so thinking by Thursday, maybe Friday, it'll be ready to fly. So might not be completely finished, but it'll be flyable. By that I mean like the little details and stuff. So anyways, we're making good progress though, and today I had to do some other stuff too. So tomorrow I think I don't have much planned, so I should be able to get a good solid day in tomorrow and get a lot done. So anyways, we'll check back in tomorrow. Sweet. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So if you watched yesterday's video, you know that the wing is now complete. I just need to glue the hinges in and everything, and the control horns, do some push rods, and then that's all done. Put the gear back in it. So I've finished sanding the spackle on the fuse, and I've got a coat of poly on the belly here. It's by no means perfect, but I think it's gonna look all right when it's done. You can fight this stuff for days and hours and hours and hours. And at the end of the day, you just have to know when to say enough is enough, especially in a model like this. It's going to get dents in it, unfortunately. As careful as you can be, it's going to get, hanger rash, especially as big as it is, moving it around. So you're just never going to get it perfect. I'm a firm believer in good enough. I'm like a perfectionist, like 50% of the way, and then I'm like, that should do. So anyways, we're gonna get the poly on here and start covering the fuselage. So that's on today's agenda, along with working on the hinges and the flight control stuff while the poly and stuff is curing. So thankfully the sun's out this morning. It's pretty cold, but shouldn't take too long to cure. So anyways, let's get back to work, and hopefully we'll start covering the fuselage soon. Alright, so I'm laying out the decals for the wing while the fuselage is drying. So This is a pretty difficult scheme to do with vinyls, especially when you're not drawing it up yourself in CAD and all that stuff. Callie did the best she could given the information that I gave her. They're close. I got some extra material that I can kind of fill in spots and stuff, but basically these are the stripes for the bottom of the wing, and I'd asked her to fill these in because these are where the gear doors and the speed brakes are supposed to be, but that didn't happen. Not a huge deal. But to make this more manageable, and also because there was some slight waviness to the edge of this, I'm going to do this in a separate piece. Now this extends out towards the front, but I've cut that off because once I get the fuselage done, I want to be able to put that stripe, this stripe right here, where it's supposed to be in the fuselage. Now there might be a gap here or something that I'll have to fill in afterwards, but so there is a fair amount of playing around to get all this stuff to work. On the elevators, what I ended up doing was the decals that I got for were a little bit on the small side, so I ended up just cutting new stripes. She gave me some extra material, some extra blue and red, so I just cut my own stripes and put them on there instead of trying to use the ones that it came with. I'll use those other pieces that it came with for filler spots if I need extra material. So anyways, I'm separating these stripes. I'm gonna put them down one at a time. Yeah, so shouldn't be too bad one at a time. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so I thought I'd explain what I'm doing here. So I got this side pretty much done. I did have to add a little piece on the end here. The reason why is I was trying to get, I probably didn't have to. I probably could have made up for it somewhere else. In fact, I might do that on this side. Anyways, what I'm ended up having to do here is, like I said, I separated the pieces before, partially because it makes it easier and also because the lines aren't straight. You can kind of see here how there's some leftover blue. It's a little wavy. Same thing on the back side of here, same thing on the front side of here. It's strange, I've never had that happen with Callie, but anyways, since these decals are a hair small, I ended up making this curve go out farther. That brings it more into the body here, so which is, it needs to be more like this, where this, if I hadn't done this, it would have ended up short, and it still would have been short on the tip as well. So I tried to kind of like find a happy medium. So what's going to end up happening here is once I get the fuselage all done, I get the wing bolted back on, there's going to be some material added right through here, as that stripe is going to continue on down the fuselage. So anyways, like I said, it's going to take a little bit of messing with it to get it all to work, and it's not really her fault. It's just, it's hard to do decals on a model like this. This is a pretty complicated paint scheme for doing vinyl decals, so I don't blame her at all. I'm just trying to make it work, but I'm trying to explain what I'm doing. So I'm trying to find the happy medium here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this set up on here, and then I'm going to kind of mark out on the top side where to cut it. I'm going to cut this long end off here, save that for later when the fuselage is done, and then pretty much just repeat the process over here like we did over here. I did it with the flight controls on so I could make it all fit real nice. So anyways, still haven't glued those hinges yet. I got the fuselage all polyed up. I gotta sand it still. I put a little bit of white paint on the wood. That's drying. I weighed it before and after. Only added 2.5 ounces to put 2 coats of poly on this giant fuselage. So actually kind of surprised by that. So we'll see how much the vinyl adds. I forgot to do the wing before and after for the weight, but anyways, that's where we're at. Gotta keep going on these decals while that's finishing up curing. I want it to be nice and cured before I give it a light sand, and we'll start on that this afternoon. But I'm trying to get this wing done because I want the flight controls to be removable while I'm doing these decals, so I can work with them a little bit more. Then I'll get these hinged and get the servos set up soon. That'll probably be tomorrow after I get the fuselage covered. So trying to get this vinyl done just to get it over with. But anyways, that's where we're at. All right, so the wing's done, as you see over there. Fuse is all sanded up and cleaned. So I'm going to start covering the bottom. I should be able to get this all done in one piece. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the corners to just past the radius there. Shouldn't be a big deal to get all that done. Probably going to do the same thing. I'll probably do a piece right here, a piece over here, and then see how big of a piece I can get away with down the nose. Again, I'll probably come about to that line where the sheeting ends, stop the radius there. Obviously I'm going to do splitters separately, stuff like that. So once I get the bottom done, then we'll probably go to the forward fuselage, the tail, and then start doing the turtle deck and stuff. So anyways, wish me luck. The bottom should be not a big deal at all. It's the turtle deck area where all the connections, all the points where they meet up in those corners and stuff, and around the inlets, that's going to be the hard part. The rest of it's all pretty flat. Not a huge deal. Around the nose might be interesting, but again, shouldn't be terrible. It's just those areas up there are going to be interesting. So anyways, let's get to it. All right, so I got the back piece done. Not a big deal. This forward section, I'm going to try something different. I was having an issue trimming that and having the overhang stick to the skin and pull some of the poly off. So I'm using some low tack masking tape here along my cut line. And what I'm going to do is after I lay the material over it, I'll trim it right to that line by hand, and then I'll just pull that masking off with the excess. So with the excess vinyl on it. So anyways, let's see how this goes. And I'm going to be really close on material. I ordered more, but it won't be here till Friday. I think I'm going to do the tail next, and I'll finish whatever I can after that. And if I can't finish it, it'll still be flyable, and I'll probably fly it in a couple of days. So anyways, let's keep going. All right, so that didn't work. Wasted some material and I caused some damage. Should have done this in multiple pieces. I tried doing it all in one. It was pretty good until about right here, until things got compounded, and it just didn't want to go. Wrinkles and sticking everywhere, and it was frustrating. So I cut it, pulled it off, and it pulled a bunch of polyurethane with it. So I gotta smooth that out and re-poly it. This turned out great. It pushed in real nice around the inlets, so that was sweet. This is all done. So I went ahead and did this side of the vertical. I'm gonna throw the decal on here because I need something to make me happy for the moment, because that was very frustrating. I definitely don't think I have enough material to finish the airplane, so that's a bummer. So I'm going to do everything I need to make it flight worthy, which is pretty much just around the tail, around the stabs, so I can get those glued on, and I won't have to worry about working around them. So I'll have probably just at least the sides back here done, probably do around the inlets, and try to finish the nose, but I don't know if the center of it will be finished. Anyways, that's where we're at. So let me do some happy things and put this decal on. All right, so I'm going to explain what I'm doing here. So after this fiasco, I'm doing stuff in smaller pieces just because it's way easier. So what I've done here is I've done these lower sections on the inlets. Wasn't that hard. So next I'm going to do this section on the side and then do the top section. And then I'll probably do like this section, and then I'll probably do like a section of this, and then another section, so on and so forth. So I could probably do a pretty big run down the side. Again, about halfway through that radius is probably doable. So I got both sides of the tail covered. I'm not going to have enough material to do the whole thing, so that's a bummer. And the new stuff won't be here till Friday. So going to have to do as much as I can and then focus on getting it flyable, and then we'll go from there. I did put this decal on the tail, and first glance looks okay, but it's too small. These stars should be like way out here. It's like huge, so I'm gonna probably have those redone. And this is a darker color blue, which is, it's hard to tell because it's dark over here, but this color blue should look like it looks on camera. It should be very dark, and that's what this color is. But this is the color of most of the blue that I have, and it's just too bright. It's not the right color. So rather than trying to peel off all the stuff that I've already done, I'm just gonna mask it off and hit it with one coat of paint over the top just to get it the right color. And I'll have Callie remake these. I'm probably gonna just paint on some of these other decals, especially now that I'm not gonna keep that same color. So this turtle deck one would have been a massive pain because it comes down here and then it runs down through this. And that's just, and the decal that I got is probably usable, but I can't imagine trying to do all that through there. Just mask it off, hit with a couple coats of paint, call it good. Same thing goes with these decals up in the nose. They got these swooshes that come through here, right? Plus the whole red nose. I can't imagine trying to do that with a decal after messing with these other decals. So I'm going to paint those. The belly stuff, I'll probably use the vinyl and then just mask it off and touch it up with the right color on top of the blue. The red's okay. It's a little bright, but it's fine. So anyways, that's where I'm at. I'm going to try and get these more difficult areas done in smaller sections, and then I should be able to like knock out this whole piece in one and then this whole piece in one. Shouldn't be too bad. And then I'll probably maybe split the turtle deck in half and do the front half and the back half. We'll see how it goes. If I'm smart, I'll do it a half at a time, even though there'll be an extra seam in there, but it just makes things way easier when you separate the compound curves. So anyways, I'm gonna get this done. So I think what I was starting to explain before I had a squirrel moment is that I'm basically making a perimeter of the area that I'm gonna do, and then I'll gently cut into the vinyl with the X-Acto blade, a really sharp one, along that tape line, and then I'll pull off the tape and leave this behind. That's how I did these. It worked out really nice. So anyways, that's where we're at. All right, so that's the finished product. Not bad. I mean, I have like a little overlap here and a little overlap here, but I mean, geez, you got to be up on the model to really see that. Back here, I don't know, it could be a panel line. So that's something else I'm considering doing. I know Andy drew some panel lines on his Boxjet F-16, and I thought it looked pretty cool, so I might try it on the blower when it's all done, see if I like it. Because I don't want it to be too much, but it's going to need something besides just the decals and the white. So anyways, I liking that approach. Much easier to deal with. Now that I think about it, I'll probably end up doing this section to here in two pieces, and then that section in two pieces. I think the more I split it up like that, the less aggravated and frustrated I'm going to get. So anyways, that worked out really well. I'm going to do the other side and see how much steam I have left in me tonight. It's been a somewhat frustrating day in the shop, so anyways, it's coming along. I'm not as far along as I would like to be by now, but that's how it usually goes. So anyways, I might call that a wrap for tonight's video. There'll be more tomorrow, so I'm trying to keep these from being too short. Every time I say that, they're like 15 minutes long. So anyways, I'll stop talking. Hope you guys liked it. It's coming along, and we'll see you tomorrow.